Again, welcome and good evening. I'm Vicki Adamson, one of the assistant principals at BCC, and tonight we're going to talk about everything advanced placement. Ms. Schaus is our illustrious and esteemed AP coordinator. She has been working very hard to make all the arrangements for our AP testing, and she is going to provide a lot of information for you this evening. With us is also Ms. Debbie Teicher, who is our school business administrator. And I am going to repeat again that we are not using the chat tonight. It's active because at some point I am going to paste a link in the chat for you. And we want you to be able to access that information. But please don't use it for anything else. Towards the end of the meeting, we're going to ask you to put any unanswered questions in the question and answer. And Ms. Teicher and I will try and make sure that we get those questions answered or ask Ms. Schaus to address them again. But we're asking that you wait towards the end of the presentation because Ms. Schaus is probably going to answer every question that you have. And so without further ado, we're going to get started and I'm going to turn the meeting over to Ms. Linda Schaus, our AP coordinator.
Thank you, Ms. Adamson. Welcome, parents and students. I know you guys have all been eagerly awaiting to find out what the plans are, and I appreciate your patience in giving us some time to absorb what the county has given us in their announcement just before spring break, but also what the College Board has given us, the guidance that they have given us. So for those of you who may not know, College Board has normally just offered exams in this time period. And so all of the exams for all the courses would normally be offered during this time period in paper and pencil. But with the problems that they understood that a lot of schools may not be back in person, they might have a mix, just like we do, where some students aren't back in the building. They wanted to give other options. They also recognized that some teachers would want more time with their students in the classroom to be able to get them better prepared. So they've offered a second administration window. And this second administration window is really a mix. Some exams are offered in paper and pencil, in person, and some are offered digitally. And this is information from the College Board. And then there's a third administration window in June. So, we're going, 6 weeks of testing rather than 2. But during this window, almost all exams are given digitally. There's only one day, that day actually is Friday the 4th, where they do give some paper and pencil tests. Those of you who don't know, our graduation is also scheduled for Friday the 4th in June, which factored into some of our decisions. So the county got that information, and then the county they interviewed and discussed it with all the stakeholders. They had students in to talk to them about it. They had, as we know, the announcement got delayed because it had to go through the board. So a lot of thought was put into this, but they released the announcement just before spring break, the Thursday before break, that all the world language and music exams would be in-person, paper and pencil. That was not a surprise. That's the only way that College Board is allowing those exams to be given, is in-person, paper and pencil. And we'll talk a little bit about why in a little bit. So that really wasn't a surprise. But what the county has decided is that almost all of the other exams will be given digitally. And the county is saying digitally, and most of those exams are offered in the second administration and the third administration window from College Board. They also put the added line, which I think really kind of added to people's confusion, when it said that students with accommodations or extenuating circumstances who required an in-person exam could make arrangements. And so I've been meeting with the AP coordinators and the head of AP testing within the county, and there's a lot of things to consider. So some schools, didn't have full capacity. So, some students or some schools didn't have that many students come back to school. They may be only 30% of their students. Some schools are only offering 300 exams. We have 2,700. So these are all things that different AP coordinators and their administration teams have to consider when they figure out how to implement the plan that the county gave us. And we at BCC, these were the big considerations that we thought about. We are at capacity in the building, So on any given day, all the rooms, especially, by the time we get to May, all of our rooms are going to be used. And so that was a consideration. June 4th is our graduation, and there is testing that goes on in the third administration window on June 4th. So that was a consideration. We also were concerned about seniors taking their AP exams after graduation. And there's a lot of concerns about that. For example, seniors would graduate and they're not allowed to come back into school or attend a class. So there would be up to 2 weeks time period where they would be preparing for their exam on their own. And we don't think that that's the best option. We also recognize that some seniors are using school issued Chromebooks, and they would need those Chromebooks to take exams in the third administration window after graduation, but they have to turn those platforms in before they can graduate. So that was a consideration, is how do we deal with the fact that seniors are supposed to graduate on June 4th? One of the most worrisome group of exams were the STEM exams. Those are the 6 math and science exams that are offered only in paper and pencil in the first and second administration window. And they're only offered digitally in the third administration window. So if we followed the default that the county said, that would mean that we would have seniors taking their STEM exams after graduation digitally at home. So that was somewhat of a concern. We also recognize, and you're going to hear a little bit about it today, but much more over the coming weeks, there are steps that all of our students have to take a digital exam. They don't just show up 5 minutes before it's about to start. They're going to have to download an app. They have to do some prep. There is some steps to take. And our concern is, what if a student doesn't do those steps on time and then miss the opportunity to take a test? So we really would like a backup plan. We would like an opportunity for them to take the exam if something doesn't go right the first time. So with all of those considered, this is what we came up with. Now we're going to give you a link to this at the end, okay? So bear with me, and I'm going to take some time on this one and address all the different things that are going on. Anything you see in pink is a paper and pencil exam in our building. Anything you see in blue is a digital exam that would be taken at home. So some of these, it's actually most of these, it's very, very clear and exactly when we're going to give the exams. In the first administration window, these are the 3 exams that we're going to give. You might wonder, we don't even offer Chinese at our school or German at our school. So this only affects a total of 6 students. So these are people who took an exam that is not offered at our school. So we don't feel that it's a problem having them take it in the first administration window. So they're going to take these exams in the first administration window in the building. The second administration window is where most of our exams, or a lot of our exams, are going to be given. So let me start with the ones you see in blue, because those are most of them. So if we, whoops, that's not what I want to do. All right, Vicki, how do I go back? Let's see.
Use the back arrow key.
Okay, sorry about that.
Mhm.
Okay, so for example, let's look at biology. All biology students will be registered to take the exam on May 27th digitally at home at 12 o'clock. If something goes wrong, something doesn't go right with the way that their computer's working, they get very ill, they can't take it, we do have a backup for them to take it on June 11th. But we expect everybody to take it during this administration window. And that would be true for all of these that you see where it's blue in both the second and the third administration window. That means there's 2 digital options, but we are pushing to get everybody through in the second administration window, everybody that we can possibly get through, especially seniors. We don't want any seniors to be having to take the exams in the third administration window. Then we come to those 6 STEM exams, and those are the ones that we really struggle with the most. These are big classes. So we have about 170 calculus students. We cannot accommodate 170 calculus students taking a paper and pencil exam in our building. We just can't do it. Ms. Teicher and I have gone through, we've looked at the numbers, there's just no way we can do that. However, we are going to make it work for seniors. So seniors will be taking a paper and pencil exam in the second administration window for those 6, gosh, okay. What did you say, the back arrow? Sorry, I won't touch my mouse. So seniors are going to be taking those 6 exams, paper and pencil, in our building. Remember, our goal is to get all seniors done during the second administration window. And so if you are a senior, you're going to be taking your Calculus AB exam on May 24th at 8 a.m. in the building. If you are a junior or a sophomore taking AP Calculus, you will be taking it digitally on June 9th. And I know that some people want to take that as paper and pencil. We just can't do it. There's just not enough room in the building for us to do that. So like I said, we're going to give you a link to this. And so this is probably the most interesting part of the entire presentation. I know it's probably the one that you guys had the most questions on. So we will give that to you. So I want to talk to you about the digital exam because some of you may have had a bad experience with the exam last year. And so College Board has changed this greatly. So for example, the length. Last year, you might have taken an exam and it was only 45 minutes long. This year, it's a full length exam that covers all the curriculum. It's a 3-hour exam if you're taking a digital exam at home. The question types last year were mostly free response, whereas this year, it's a mix of multiple choice and free response questions. Last year, you had to upload pictures of your work, especially I know as a math teacher, I heard about the calculus students having to upload the work. That is not going to have to be done this time. So free response questions are going to be actually entered digitally and automatically saved. So you're not going to have a situation where, and we're going to talk about this too, is that, oh, you lose your internet and you lost your work. That's not going to happen. I'll talk to you about why. Last year, there was a variety of platforms that were allowed, including smartphones. I'm not sure why anybody would take an AP exam on a smartphone, but apparently that was allowed last year. This year, it has to be a computer. It has to be a PC, Mac, or a school-managed Chromebook. It has to be taken on those devices. Last year, you were required to have the internet the whole way through. And if a student lost the internet, then they may have lost their work, and I'm sure it caused a lot of distress. This year, it's being done differently. You're going to actually be downloading an app, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that as we go forward. And so you will absolutely need the internet when you start, and you'll need the internet at the end. But if you have disruptions while you're taking the exam, it's not going to affect your ability to save your work. And then lastly,
Welcome to the 2021 Digital AP Exams. This year, AP students testing digitally will
Just
use
push
our
stop
new digital
for the
testing
video.
right,
full-length exams.
And then go back.
The app works on
I'm
desktops
trying.
and laptops, PC or Mac, and on school-managed
Okay.
Chromebooks. Before
It's
exam
going
day,
so
you'll
well.
download the app to your device. Then,
It's still
3
going
days
well.
before your AP exam,
Okay,
you'll
I
complete a quick
can't
exam
get this
setup
to stop.
where you
Can you
confirm
just
some
push,
info about yourself
maybe
and
pause on the video?
you must
I
complete
can't even
exam
see the
setup
video.
for each digital AP exam you take. On exam day, you need to check
Try
in
and
30 minutes before your
push
exam
escape.
starts. You'll review some privacy policies,
Uh,
type a security
all right,
statement,
1
and
second
get
here.
ready to test. Most AP exams are a combination of multiple choice and free response questions. To keep digital
If you
testing
push
secure,
escape on your
you'll be
computer,
able to move back and forth between questions
it's
or
not
review
working.
questions you've already answered. On the free response questions, you'll type directly into the app and your work will be saved to your device automatically. There are no
While
files.
we're trying to
uploaded.
work this out, I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat
The
Okay,
internet
that's a
connection
good
is
idea.
required to
to the
test,
schedule.
but the app will keep running.
And
even if
so
the connection
parents, if
drops
you copy that
momentarily.
link,
When
you
the exam
can
is over,
have the entire
answers will be
schedule
submitted
so that you
automatically.
can see it.
If your device is
And
offline,
we're going to
time
get this
reconnect
settled
and
and
submit your work.
straightened out
We're excited to share
so
our
that we
new
can go
digital
back to the
testing.
presentation.
Good luck on your AP exam.
And Ms. Schaus, I would just say that maybe when you pushed escape, did it stop? Push
No,
escape now. and see-
it's not allowing me to go back.
Okay.
It's not allowing me to,
Push escape now and see if it will let you go back on the
I'm-
slide.
that's what I'm pushing.
Great.
Yep. Okay. All right. I'm going to leave it like this for now. So the presentation mode is really causing problems. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. So world languages were offered digitally, and that did not go well. And there are too many online translation apps, so the exams were not secure. And so College Board is requiring that all world language and music theory exams be given in person. So that's just not, there's no other option. So here's that silly video that was playing before. Now I want you to see it. So let's just take a second. It's only about 2 minutes long, but it does explain a couple of things.
Welcome to the 2021 Digital AP Exams. This year, AP students testing digitally will use our new digital testing application to complete their full-length exams. The app works on desktop, laptops, PC or Mac, and school-managed Chromebooks. Before exam day, you'll download the app to your device. Then, 3 days before your AP exam, you'll complete a quick exam setup where you confirm some info about yourself and your device. You must complete exam setup for each digital AP exam you take. On exam day, you need to check in 30 minutes before your exam starts. You'll review some privacy policies, type a security statement, and get ready to test. Most AP exams are a combination of multiple choice and free response questions. To keep digital testing secure, you won't be able to move back and forth between questions or review questions you've already answered. On the free response questions, you'll type directly into the app and your work will be saved to your device automatically. There are no files to upload and you won't submit any handwritten work. An internet connection is required to test, but the app will keep running even if your connection drops momentarily. When the exam is over, your answers will be submitted automatically. If your device is offline, you'll have time to reconnect and submit your work. We're excited to share our new digital testing app with you. Good luck on your AP exam.
So these are the steps that you're going to follow to get ready for your digital exam. And the first one actually came out today. They just came out with the digital app that you would download onto your computer and get ready for it. You can practice questions. You can practice sample questions on that app. You would complete that setup. That's 3 days before, and then you would take your exam. But they do want you to log in 30 minutes beforehand. And so we're going to talk more about these as we go on tonight, but definitely we'll spend more and more time on this over the next month before exams start. So April 8th, today is when the digital AP exam application comes out. I have not downloaded it myself yet, so we'll see how that works. But you can actually practice the exam on that app. So that's nice that you'll be able to practice ahead of time. And then your teacher will also be able to see what you're doing so they can help you and to make sure that you're understanding the process. They're also going to give me what they're calling a dashboard. So I don't get that until the end of April, but I'll be able to monitor who has actually done these steps to make sure that students are doing all the things they have to be prepared to take the exam. You have to check into the exam 30 minutes prior. So this is an important thing. And so there's a lot of things, a lot of responsibility put on the students right before the exam and also leading up to the exam. And so again, that's kind of why we want a backup plan. So if something goes wrong, that students, don't miss the opportunity to take an exam. Accommodations. All accommodations are met with digitally. So for example, if you have extended time, it's automatically built in. You're going to have extended time. If you had an accommodation to have a larger print, you're going to have the ability to increase the size as you read through it. And you'll be able to practice those things also in the practice app. It will have a screen reader if that's an accommodation that a student had. And there's no requirement for you to do anything else. Any accommodation that was planned for when we were paper and pencil is automatically given to you as a digital exam. I remember in talking to AP teachers last year, some students were never quite sure if they did it right. So this year, they're going to make it very clear. If you have, everything has been submitted and they have all your work, you're going to get a little celebration here with a smiley face. And congratulations, it worked. If it didn't work, you're going to see this symbol, but it's not over. So don't feel like if you get that message, oh no, all my work's gone, because that's not the case. They are going to work with you. They even have, as you see here, a phone number. So if something happened and it didn't upload, you'll be able to call that number and get it taken care of. So hopefully that will take some of the stress out, because I know a lot of the stress just comes from wondering if your work is going to be uploaded. I did want to take a minute to talk about AP payments. So we extended the deadline to April 9th so that you'd be able to hear this information tonight. And then if you change your mind and you didn't want to take the exam, you could go ahead and cancel it. And then, but we'd like everybody to pay by tomorrow. There is and has been a fee reduction for students who normally would qualify for services, for example, free and reduced lunch. But we're also have another pot of money available to those who were financially impacted by the pandemic. And that has actually been out since early fall. If you have missed that and you feel that that you qualify or that you would need that support because of the results of the pandemic, there is a Google form. It's on the BCC website. Please go and fill that form out. And I look at that form periodically and update the information. Now, if you did it today, and some people did, it's not going to update your payments in time for you to pay for tomorrow. So we understand that. And so we understand that if that was the case, that you will not be able to pay till next week. It'll take us a couple of days to go through the process of doing the upload to the online payment system. And that just doesn't happen that quickly. If you decide that let's say May 1st comes around, you decide, I don't want to take this exam, I don't feel ready, you can cancel the exam. There's a Google form for that too. I really, there's over 1,300 of you. So emailing me is just not very effective. So what we want you to do is to fill out that Google form. And again, I check that every so often, and I will go ahead and cancel exams if you've decided not to take it. Now, if you registered late and you incurred a $40 late fee, then you don't get the $40 back. We will refund you, but we're going to refund you in June. We're going to do it all at once in June, rather than going back and forth with small groups of people. We did want to tell you that if you look on the online payment system and you've canceled an exam, but it still says outstanding as if you owe it, don't worry about that. We know that there's another place we look to find out who needs to pay. It's not the online payment system. And so eventually we will remove those, but don't worry if you're a senior and you're worried you're not going to be able to pick up your cap and gown because you have this obligation. Don't worry about that. That's not going to happen. And then lastly, I get a lot of emails about people saying, I can't pay online. And these are the 3 most common solutions to their problems. Scroll down. So sometimes it's just a matter of scrolling down the obligations. Make sure you're in the right year. And then if you don't see your obligation and you've confirmed all those other things aren't the case, wait an hour and try again. What often happens is if we're doing the update, it's not going to give you accurate information. So for example, yesterday, I got an email from about 4 or 5 students, all within about 10-minute time period, and we were doing an upload, and that's why they couldn't see anything. So just, go, relax for a little bit, come back, try it again. It will likely work, okay? Also, sometimes I get emails that say, did I register for the exam? You can check that on your own. You can log on to the AP website, and on the first page of the AP website, it will list all the exams you're registered for. So that's not something that you have to come to me for. You can look that up on your own. And although this is a little premature, because I know there's a lot of other things you guys are thinking about right now, I did want to put this out there. I'm not going to go through it in detail, but when you're ready to take a digital exam at home, you want to prep your home for that so that you can make sure that you can do your best. So, you want to make sure that you're in a quiet room. You want to remove distractions. If you have a lot of other people on devices, maybe you try to get them off of those devices during those time period. So different things to think about. What tools do you need? Do you need a calculator? Do you need scratch paper, pencil, pens, things like that? And so those are all things that you should think about. And I know it's a little early to think about those now, but since we had you here, we did want to bring that up. Now, going forward, these are some important things. Pay for your exams by April 9th. We have to have a good number to understand how many people are actually taking exams. If you're going to cancel your exam, use the Google form to do that. You don't have to email me afterwards and say, I filled out the Google form. I just wanted to tell you. No, you don't have to do that. I look at the Google form, I'll know. Make sure that you are reading all your emails and the daily announcements to stay up to date. So I send information out through Yeah, through Synergy. And I put parents on the emails and I put the students on the emails. So please make sure that you're reading those. Ms. Adamson has sent messages out through Synergy and she just sends them to the entire school, even if they're not AP students, just to make sure everybody got it. If you have questions about your exam, you can talk to your AP teacher. Your AP teacher should be able to help you with some of the questions that we receive. And then when the app is available, which it is now, you do want to download that app and start to practice. And we're going to definitely have more meetings and more opportunities for you to ask questions, especially when you start to work with that piece of the application. We also are going to have the AP teachers work with you on that too, as a class, to make sure that you're getting into where you're supposed to be, you're able to practice. Okay, so that's all that I have. And so I guess now, Ms. Adamson, we're going to open it up to questions.
Yeah, so Ms. Teicher and I have been responding to some of your questions in the question and answer. We're going to ask that the people who've been typing in the chat, if your questions haven't been answered, please make sure you're using the question and answer and not the chat, because we're not really responding there. So some of the questions we haven't answered or that we're seeing duplicates for, a lot of people are asking about checking the status of their payment. And please use OSP to find out if what your status is, if you still need to pay for any of the exams. And Ms. Teicher, I don't know if you want to speak more directly to OSP regarding some of the questions that have been coming up in the chat.
Certainly. So to find your OSP account, that link is on the BCC website. If you scroll down on the homepage, it's on the lower right-hand side. So you should be able to access it there. If you are having trouble beyond that and you've tried the solutions that Ms. Schaus shared tonight, you can always reach out to Mrs. Audrey Liebeskind. She's our school financial specialist, and she can help you as well. Seen a lot of questions about, if my OSP card is empty, can I assume we have paid? It's probably a good assumption that you have paid. But again, if you're uncertain, you can certainly email Mrs. Liebeskind. I did see a couple of questions about the due date being tomorrow. We are asking that people pay by tomorrow. It's very important for us to have a count of where we are with the students that are taking the exams. If there are extenuating circumstances, for example, you are applying for a waiver, as Ms. Schaus said, it's going to take us a couple of days to process that. Don't worry, we will make those arrangements outside of the payment window. And if there are further extenuating circumstances, I would suggest that you reach out to Ms. Schaus or myself, and we can work with you. I did receive a question about, is OSP the only way to pay? Checks can be sent to the school. A check would be made out to Bethesda Chevy Chase High School. You could put it in an envelope to my attention and have your student or yourself drop in the main office. But again, we really are looking to see all payments come in by end of day tomorrow.
And I'm also
And
going
OSP stands for online school payment. I just saw that question come up.
Again, that's online school payment for OSP. Some of you are asking about the different dates. Notice Ms. Schaus talked about 3 test administration windows, and we are choosing the windows when we're giving the test based on the arrangements we need to make for space in the building, proctors, and anything else we need to do. Note that school will still be in session. We will still have students learning in the building. So we have very limited classroom space, especially practicing social distancing due to COVID. So when we do this, we don't have the entire school available to use. And we're going to use the digital option in cases where we can, except for those exams that must be paper and pencil. And as Ms. Schaus said, those language exams, AP Spanish language and music theory, and the other language exams you see listed. And so when you were looking at the slide, maybe you could not see all of the exams, but that link is in the chat and hopefully you have been able to pull it. And I think when you go onto the BCC website, if you just look in the menu, you usually see any of those forms for AP. If you're still having any problems finding any of the forms, you can email us and we can probably send you the link and point it out to you directly if you're not able to find it on the website. But
Also-
everything is there on the website.
Everything's on the website. And also, I have been putting it in the daily announcements, and those daily announcements gets posted on the listserv. So all those links, so, you know, how to cancel a form, how to cancel exam, that's a Google form, how to register for a waiver, that's a Google form. So, you know, those are all out, how to pay for, you know, using OSP, that's a link. I've got a Google link to that too. So I keep putting those out there. I think a bunch of announcements have gone out over the last couple of weeks. So, you know, check those daily announcements, but it's all on the BCC website also.
And Ms. Schaus, I did just share in one of the questions, somebody was looking specifically for that link to cancel that Google Doc. And so I did put that link in one of the questions. But if you are looking for it, if you, it's under school testing information for 2021, and you want to click on the where it says AP testing information, payment information. From the home page under quick links, you want to go to, again, to testing information.
If somebody's asked, you know, where can they find the AP Practice app? So that's that app that just came out today. So I haven't looked at it myself, but I'm sure that if you go to if you log into your AP, you're going to be able to see where to find that. And that's that app, once you download it onto the computer, is when you're going to be able to practice. I haven't done it yet myself, so I can't talk anything more to it. It just came out today. So somebody said on the College Board site that there are different dates than you've listed. So the College Board is going to list all 3 of these dates. So they have a date for Administration 1, they have a date for Administration 2, they have a date for Administration 3. So where you see it blocked out, we are not offering those options. In some ways we're not offering them because the county says we're not offering them, but we're also not offering them because we don't have space. So everything in this first administration window that you see blocked off are paper and pencil exams. We cannot give 2,700 exams in our building in the first 2 weeks of May. I can't do that. So everything else should match up.
We were just trying to get through some of the other questions. I do want to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded. Dr. Mooney will post it. And if we don't answer all of your questions tonight, then we will certainly get back to you. You can email us if you still have any other questions. And after you perhaps have watched this presentation again. But I would also like to echo what some of the parents have put in the chat and the question and answer, that Ms. Schaus has done a tremendous job with this organization and arrangement and dealing with your questions and the needs of your children. And I just want to thank her. I hope you understand how many hours above and beyond she has been working to make this a manageable and positive experience for all of our students. So thank you, Ms. Schaus, very much.
I appreciate that.
And one of the other questions that I see is that students who might have 2 exams on the same day.
We have 2, we have 2 students that are in that situation. One I've already been in contact with, and so we'll certainly, we'll reach out and deal with that separately. That has only happened twice.
And please understand, we don't want students to take 2 exams on the same day. So as Ms. Schaus said, in those instances, we are going to make arrangements.
Okay. We'll have to look at how that happens, because if it's a senior, you know, we have to have you done in the second administration window. So we'll have to work with that, you know, separately. Somebody asked, you know, how do you know which window you're taking? So let me review this again. If you are an underclassman and you are taking a digital exam, you are taking it in the second administration window. You're taking these exam times, that's when you're taking it. If you are a senior and you need to take, and in fact, if you're a senior, you're taking all of your exams, unless there's some really outstanding reason not to, in the second administration window. You're going to take your STEM exams in the second administration, your digital exams in the second administration window, and then the undergrads for these STEM classes are going to take the exams here. So if you're a senior, you're taking these exams paper and pencil. If you're an underclassman, you're taking it in the third administration window digitally. And so, you know, there's some pros and cons to both. The students who are taking the third administration window are going to have a little bit more time with their teacher to prepare. And I understand that sometimes people would rather take paper and pencil. So there's definitely a trade-off there. And we understand that, but we just can't fit everybody. I know that there was a question about making sure that people are prepared for their exams. The AP, that's something that our AP teachers are doing all the time. They are doing everything they can to prepare your students the best they can. And somebody mentioned, you know, what's happening in other parts of the country where they're still in school. You know, there's not much, we can only do what we can do. So with every hour that we have your students, we're going to be doing the best we can to prepare them for those exams. That's the best we can do. Some of the teachers are giving review sessions. There are opportunities for practice, you know, through AP. So there's lots of opportunities. So, but in some cases, you know, the students are going to have to kind of step it up if they really want to make sure that they're doing well, and look for those opportunities for more practice.
Also, a lot of you are asking about the dates, and again, just for clarity, we are using the second testing administration primarily, except for those few language exams in the first testing administration. So concentrate on the second testing administration window. We know that this might be different than some of the teachers have been saying, but as we started out, if you were here at the very beginning of the meeting, Ms. Schaus explained why we are using that second testing administration window. And the teachers know this. And if you consider, based on the holidays, graduation where there's no school, and the block schedule, it is not really that many more class periods after the second administration window. So it's not like students are losing an extraordinary amount of time. It would just be a couple of days, and most of the teachers have already worked out their schedule in terms of how they're going to prepare the students to be ready for the exam.
So
Ms. Adamson, I think it's also important to note these exam dates are actually quite a bit later than if we were in a quote unquote normal year. And we're usually done with AP exams by about the 20th of May. So as Ms. Schaus and Ms. Adamson said, we have to go with that second window so that if there is an error, we do have time and the ability to give the exam later.
And
so when you log on to your AP site right now, the vast majority of you, it will give you a date that's in the first administration window. I haven't switched you yet. I haven't moved you. Almost everybody is still listed with a date in the first 2 weeks of May. That is not when you're taking it. That's just, it's defaulted to the first administration window, and I haven't moved you yet, but I will. I didn't want to move anybody until we had the meeting, because I just knew that that would just blow people's mind if all of a sudden they're seeing different dates. So I just left it the way it was, but I am going to start moving people, and you're going to start to see the exam times. So for example, I'm going to move all the biology students to taking the test on May 27th at 12 o'clock noon. I'm going to take seniors in calculus, and I'm going to move them to the second administration window, and all the undergrads are going to move to the third administration window. So you're going to be able to log on, and where it says your date right now, everybody's just defaulted to the first administration window. I'm going to be moving you. and then you'll be able to see the exact date. But that's the discrepancy. So if you say, oh, well, College Board says I'm taking it this date, but that's not what you're saying, College Board is defaulting to the first administration window.
So at this point, again, we are going to prepare to end this webinar. And if there are questions that we did not answer for you, please just let us know. You can contact us separately. Ms. Schaus, I did see one where the parent said they did not have access to the Google form. And we can just make sure that we make sure that everyone has access. We can look at those again, so check later. And we're going to make sure that teachers clarify the dates of the exams. Ms. Schaus has already met with those teachers, and we expect that they are now clear on the dates that the exams are being given, and those are the dates that they're working for with the students. So, and then I guess this last question, what is an undergrad? Anyone who's not a senior, who's not graduating as a senior. So any student in 9, 10, or 11 who might be taking an AP exam, we refer to them as undergraduates. And also this presentation will be posted. So thank you so much for coming. And we are going to get ready to stop the webinar.
Okay, and I think some people came on late because I see some questions in here that were answered early on. So we're going to be able to post it. So I would recommend, if you didn't get your question answered, to go ahead and go back and look, especially if you came on late, because it was probably answered early on.
And the last thing I did was I posted the exam dates again in the chat, so you could copy that. And we're going to go ahead and end this session. Good night, everyone, and thank you for coming.